wonderful thing. Let's talk about one more thing.
All right.
Let's talk about our buddy Melvin Stout.
Oh, my.
I loved Melvin.
Oh, man.
And I miss him, don't you?
Oh, Lord.
I miss Melvin.
Every morning, usually I have a time of, when I get with God, I take about a 2-hour block of a morning, and that's when I pray and study.
Mm-hmm.
And Melvin always watched the weather of the morning.
Right.
And after I'd get done, I'd call him, or sometimes I didn't call him, he'd call me, and what's the weather going to be like, And after he went on to heaven, I thought about that several times. I could call him and ask him what the weather was like in heaven this morning.
Yeah.
But I talked to him about it every day.
Yeah.
And he was a blessing to our life. He helped me with stuff. That's right now I'm having a problem with him on the mountain mowing. Melvin always done the mowing up there, And I tried to take care of him too. He took care of me. And if we had a wash machine needed worked on, he'd work on it. A car needed worked on, or whatever needed to be done. He'd just go ahead and do it, and I could go ahead and do something else. And but he was awesome. But I sure do miss that guy.
I've never seen anybody run a piece of equipment like he could run it. He could feel that blade.
Yeah.
He could run a dozer and feel the blade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And run it, and he'd get so mad at everybody else when they would get on it. Yeah. He never thought anybody else could run it. Yeah. No.
Well, that big bridge going across from my house we drive across, it's a railroad car frame. And I bought that and had it delivered. And he took that big old dozer and put that thing in there, and he balanced that frame on that dozer blade and set that thing in place. I mean, that's genius.
Yeah.
That's a genius.
Yeah.
But he did. He kept pulling that, got under it, got down the creek, and he balanced that thing and put that thing in place on that dozer blade.
Yeah. And he would fuss about you or fuss about me, but always be there if we needed us.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But he'd fuss about me to me. We would argue about things sometimes. Because, see, Melvin never believed there's steel in the Bible. Metal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he ever talked to you. He never believed that there was any metal. He thought, no, there's no way. He said there was no steel. There was not steel until later on. His dad was a blacksmith, and he'd tell me all this stuff. Now, it says these swords are in here, Melvin, these helmets and these... Nope, I don't believe it. We would argue about it all the time. We would argue about stuff.
Yeah, you'd tear him up about other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Had him going.
Oh, yeah. Well, I tell you what we're talking about right now. We would argue about water baptism. I would find he would think one way, and I would just think another, just to argue.
Yeah.
We would get to argue, and I'd laugh about it. And then, I would tell him about somebody getting saved, and he said, no way. There's no way. I said, Melvin, they said they come to the Lord. Yep, there ain't no way they made it. There ain't no way. I said,
all the rotten stuff they did.
Yeah. He would tell me all the time. He said, ain't no way. And I said, but what about when you used to grease the railroad tracks when you was a boy? And that train would come up the hill and it'd spin them engines out. Because he told me about that. And I said, what about when you go over and get them parts at the railroad? Well, now that's different. I said, yeah. What about this that you used to do? I said, we would go at it all the time. I loved him, though.
Oh, Lord, I did too. Yeah,
we could be riding down the road in that big old Kenworth I had, and he could drink a cup of coffee, eat a sandwich, change the gears, talk on the CB, and drive it at the same time. He would. One time when I first made my CDL, we were going somewhere to pick up a load of stuff. We left out that evening in that truck, and there's just way too many gears, okay? Way too many gears in the truck. And I would get lost. I'd be changing gears. I'd get lost, and I'd stop and start over. He'd get so mad he couldn't hardly stand it. He said, get mad. He'd come out of that sleeper fuming. Just let me drive, he'd say. He would say. He'd say, let me drive. Yeah. And I'd say, no, I'm going to figure this out. And I'd start over again. Yeah. We'd break down somewhere on the side of the road in that old ragged truck, and have to get out. Or he'd call me sometimes if he broke down. There'd be a wire loose somewhere or something like that, And he'd figure it out eventually. He'd find
absolutely,
it. He'd find it. But I loved him. I really did. I miss him. I think about him. But I tell you what, the Lord extended his days, didn't he?
Yeah,
you know,
did. Yeah,
he extended his days.
He really did. Yeah,
and it's just hard to believe he's gone.
Oh man, yeah,
it really is. And there's people out there that we love, that we think about, that we do miss.
Yeah,
it's real.
Yeah,
good to be missed.
Yeah, and just like whenever I called you and told you that he'd passed, I remember what you said. Well, we know where he's at.
Exactly.
And
he talked about it all the time.
Yeah. And I've used that. I've used that a lot.
He really did. We knew where he went.
I know where he's at. Yeah.
And so I loved him, and that's important. It's important because a lot of people leave here and nobody cares, my friend.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. They leave and it doesn't make a bit of difference to some people. But and I hate to. I've always said if there's a few people standing there when they put you in the ground that really say, I'm gonna miss that guy. Mm-hmm. That you've done well. Yeah. You've really done well.
Another one I'm gonna miss is your dad.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I love that guy.
I tell you, when Dad died, there was this big hole in my life of a day because I talked to him so much during the day. And when Fox News, when Tucker would come on, we'd call and talk, or when in the morning we'd call and talk. And and when he died, I thought, I don't know what to do. And I tell you this something too, Jimmy. I never felt old till my dad died. And I thought about that. Until your dad dies, I didn't feel old because my dad was still around. So how do you feel old if your dad's still around? But when Dad died, in a month, I felt like I aged and got older, okay? Because my dad was no longer around. And that just, that hit me like that. Wow. And I don't know, but we're passing through, my friend.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
We're passing through.
And one of the days it'll be us too, brother.
Well, yeah. And that's the way I think about those things. My kids, a while back I got them together and gave them things that I had, property, signed things over and gave it to them. I said, because your mama and I ain't leaving you nothing else. We ain't leaving you no money. We're going to spend the money. I said, we might leave you a credit card. You can pay it off if you want to, but not let them collect it. But I said, we're not going to leave you no money. And I think it's all right if you want to leave your kids money, not leave them money, but I ain't leaving mine no money. We're spending it. And I said, I give them everything now. The house I live in belongs to Colson. I signed it, gave it to him and his wife, and I gave him all the property. I gave it to the kids and gave them. I said, this is the way I'm going to do this. I'm going to give you inheritance now. I don't want you thinking about it later. And I don't want you worrying about it after a while. Here's what it is. And there's one thing that I miss. I got a big Indian, one of them 7-foot tall Indians, and Kelsey has it. Because I gave her the house she's in, and she's got that Indian, and I wanted it, but I can't get it. She won't let me have it. And I really would like to keep that until I died, at least. But she won't let me have it. She kept it. And I can't. I'm a little bit scared of her, so I can't do anything about it. So, Jim, I appreciate you, buddy.
Likewise.
I really do. Yeah. You've always been a blessing. I can't think of a time you haven't been. I look forward to you coming here about as much as anybody I can think of. I said, Jimmy Dickens will like this stuff. I said, he will be... it is right up his alley.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
I'd like to have a little bigger building. I wish you'd have made... I still got the sticker on the wall where I bought this building, back here behind you. It's still back there in the back. What I gave for it's back there in the back.
Oh, yeah, I see
it. 8 foot by 10 foot building. I can't remember what I gave for it. It was a lot. I can't remember, but it's back there anyway.
Be more than that now.
I don't take sticker off in case I need to sell it. I'll leave it on there.
Oh, Lord.
But anyway, well, I appreciate you watching. You're watching Just From the Shed. When I talk about doing this program, it's exactly for gentlemen like Jimmy sitting here. People who I believe they've lived a life and they've got a word that'll help you. Take it to heart. And just like you were standing at Harvard and the professor was standing up before you, he couldn't give you words of wisdom like Jimmy could give you. And that's what he shared with you today from his heart to you. It's up to you to take it and do what you want. Well, God bless you. Thank you for watching Just From the Shed. Adios.
All right.
Oh, it's a good day.